Hey there, hi there, hello there. This is RHJunior calling to testing, testing, 1 2 3, testing, testing, 1 2 3, testing, 1 2 1 2. Hey there, hi there, hello there. This is RHJunior, RHJunior Reality Check, coming to you live over the internet through a series of tubes known as the Boob Tube of YouTube, bringing you another broadcast of my little contribution to the internet, Spleen Squeezins. Why am I here? Because I said I'd be, and hey, I gotta fulfill at least one promise a month. Hey, yeah, I'm all here. I'm here all alone. I'm here all alone. I don't know how long I'm going to be on here. It was bad. I I didn't get to bed until like 4 in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning. So naturally, I slept a landing. So much for my plans for having scheduled, rigorous stuff. Dang it, poop. It just. Mm. Well, and the music just stopped. Typical. Uh, and it's random too. It's just I forgot to randomize it. Ah, I'm tired. I feel I feel beat like a drum. I feel defeated. What is what I feel. I really do. It's just, I'm not sure what to think. I'm not. You'll have to forgive me. I'm really out of sorts at the moment. Today, Monday is going to be a new day. It's going to start out. It's only the 27th of January. Crap. Crap, crap, crappity crap. And There are things bothering me that are on my mind that uh, things that I'm not willing to share. Things that I want to share, but I'm not willing to. I have many things on. I have many things bothering me and worrying me, and they all come back down to one thing. And that one thing, uh, resolving it would require either divine intervention or uh, engaging in a course of action that I do not wish to discuss. It's just. I'm sorry. I'm really fishing right now. I'm really digging through my mind and my soul, and I've talked about I've talked I don't want to say what I'm trying to talk about something without saying what it is I'm talking about because I've talked about it before, and even talking about it is a shameful thing sometimes. But it's a personal issue. You know, objectively speaking, it sounds like a childishly simple answer. You know, if this is a problem, don't do it. But the problem is that it's looking more and more like the only sure option I have. I've gotten into a rut. I've gotten into a bad rut. Talking about I have like a short list of topics I talk about on the show. A very short list of topics I talk about on the show. And personally, I'm tired of hearing about them myself. And several, a very short list of topics I talk about the show. Some of them political, some of them religious, and some of them are a handful of them are very personal, and and there are some decisions that I have to make and abide by, choices I have to make. And I'll make it simple. Is one choice that for years, there's one option lying before me that for years I've said would be, it would just be a violation of my, uh, ethics and morals and my principles, and it would cause, and if I was found out, it would cause all sorts of catastrophe. I'm sure with the people I know and with my family, and on that front, it seems like a straightforward moral decision. But the more I look at my situation, the more it seems like the only way I'll be able to bail myself out. I feel like Walter White on Breaking Bad, for crying out loud. That's not fair, really. The thing about Breaking Bad is that everybody talks about how Walter White, oh, he had cancer, and he got so desperate he started dealing drugs, making meth to pay for his own medical care. No, uh, no, it wasn't. Walter White. I watched the first couple episodes, and first off, it was spelled out. His insurance was going to cover everything. It was going to cover his care. It was going to cover his medical care. It's just that it wasn't that he was in a financial crisis. He was going through a meaning of life crisis. He was going through he was already going through a midlife crisis. Because he was a former he was a science uh, researcher. He used to work for the government, and now he's uh, uh, working two jobs, teaching in a high school for a bunch of spoiled teenage snots, and washing cars to make a little extra money on the side. And then finding out he has cancer. He's you know it wasn't that he was trying to do it for his family. He admitted that he had that one of the last episodes. He said, I didn't do it for I thought I was doing it for you. I didn't do it for you. I did it for me. Because he reached a point. He looked around his life. He'd been busting his hump, and he had nothing to show for it. And now he was going to die. And he had no more fucks to give. Pardon my language. Well, there goes another of my principles right out the window. Me, I'm in a slightly different sort of personal crisis. I've got all that. I'm 48 years old, and I'm a bum living in a trash-filled trailer, and I've loudly proclaimed my values and my ethics and my standards, and I've got nothing to show for it. I've got nothing. I screwed up. I screwed up my life a lot. But, trying to make the right decision, and not making the right decisions, and I had, just I didn't have a future, and now I don't even have a past. I don't even have a past worth talking about now. And I have I have a wolf at every door. And I don't know what I'm going to do to get out of it. And I have spent years. I've gotten to the point where I'm just, this is me. I used to have potential and talent and energy, but now I'm just a hobo with a tin cup in his hand, begging for change. Which really stinks because there are panhandlers out there that make more a day than I would make, than a regular person makes at a full time job in a week. No lie. Those people with the signs out there, not all of them, but they've been tracking down some of these people, and it turns out that they just making money hand over fist. Begging on street corners. And it makes me feel worthless that I make all this noise about earning an honest, ethical living, and I can't I can't even uh, keep my own floor swept, and and over the decades, I've gotten into crisis. I've gotten into hole after hole, and I've had to move back in with my family on two or three different occasions over the years, over a course of 20 to 30, over about 30 years. Moving in and out of my sister's house, moving in and out of my parents' house, and it was bad enough when I was physically able. But if I end up if I move back in with my family, this will be it. The just that'll be it. It'll kill me. And I've been sitting here trying to convince myself that what I'm contemplating is, I'm trying to, I'm sitting here trying to convince myself that what I'm contemplating, this sin I'm contemplating, is less shameful and maybe less sinful than becoming a, a homeless fat welfare blob uh, parasitizing off of my parents or my sister and brother-in-law. No, and every effort I've made, I try and pull myself up by my bootstraps, and I can't even reach my bootstraps anymore. It's eating, and it's. You wonder how people reach a point where they're willing to sell their soul in these old stories. This is how, because they sell their soul trying to save what's left of it. You know. I tried to be better than I am, and I'm not. Yeah, I've been up on a high horse for years. Here I am lecturing people about responsibility and you know personal responsibility and fiscal responsibility and ethics and morals uh, and values, and lecturing people about saying, and here I am uh, just trailer trash. Here I am. I am welfare food stamp sucking trailer trash. And I've already backslid. I haven't, to talk about religion. I haven't been in a church in literally years. I'm full of it. This I can't. I have 160 people who've subscribed to this channel. I have no idea why. Because I have to be the most depressing, boring. I have to be either the most boring or the most depressing person to listen to when I get like this. And I get like this almost every day. Okay, we've got three people in channel. One of them's me, and another one of them's Freak Uni. Hey, Freak Uni. You're just in time for another of my depressive episodes. In every sense of the word. Who else is in here? Speak now or forever be annoyed and pestered until you do. Okay. Nothing. They say nothing. They lurk. They lurk. We will not let you lurk. It's Ben Shakar. It's Freak Uni, Ben Shakar, and me. I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how to get any. I don't know how to increase an audience. I don't know how to. I just can't seem to manage to push anything past a certain level of sloppy amateur. Daniel Radcliffe, everybody's favorite Harry Potter, is starring in a new weird movie. It's called Guns Akimbo. And he's just an ordinary, tech guy working in an office. And one day, a group of maniacs kick in his front door, knock him out. When he wakes up, he has two guns in his hands. They have literally riveted the guns to his hand. There are bolts through his hands into the gun. He can't let them go. And what it is that he has been selected. There's supposed to be the premise is that there's this online death match show, this online illegal death match show, and he has been randomly selected as one of the new contestants. The movie's called Guns Akimbo. So I feel sorry for Daniel. I don't know what to think about Daniel Radcliffe. I mean, he starts out as Harry Potter. You figure he's going to be a typical actor, and instead he's getting in all these freaky, weird projects. Let's see, he did a stage play called Equus, in which full frontal nudity featured. Freak show of the week. And then he was in a movie where he played as a corpse, of all things, that some castaway was using like a Swiss Army knife. And then, and now he's in this movie Guns Akimbo. You've probably seen memes of it already. As still photos of him. He's running around. He's in his underpants, in a bathrobe and fuzzy slippers, and holding two guns, standing in the middle of the street, laughing like a maniac. That's where it's from. Guns Akimbo. Don't know why that popped into my head. Couldn't begin to guess. Excuse me, I got something stuck in my foot. Okay, so uh, I didn't get anything done today. In fact, my day only started about an hour or two ago because I slept all day. Because I was up until like 4 in the morning. Hip hooray. I'm, I'm just not feeling very well. I'm not feeling like a very. I'm just not feeling very well. I don't want to. I don't want to end like this. I don't want to. I don't want this to be what goes on my tombstone. That I died penniless and in debt in a broken down old trailer. I don't want to end up. Uh, I'm a charity case already, but if I ended up having to move in with my family, God forbid, move back in with my parents. My parents are in their 70s. They don't need some welfare charity case like me sucking up air in their home. I'm gonna end up in a more deplorable. I got an Uncle George. He's a mess. He's me with more ambition and less sense. And, just he's not quite all there. I don't think uh, anyway, we caught a lot of grief from my mom's side of the family. Uh, but and I'm if I don't unless something happens soon, unless something happens soon, I'm going to end up looking worse. I'm going to be an even worse version of him. My grandparents are all gone, save for my mother's mother who died of a stroke. Just bang one day she was getting ready to go work. She was a volunteer at the hospital, and ironically, and one day she was just getting ready, and she was gone. But the rest of my grandparents and my great aunts, they all just, my aunts, my aunt, my great aunts, I got my grandfather, my grandmother. They all ended up in their own times just wasting away, and I already feel half wasted away myself. For my grandmother and grandfather and my aunt, it was just a long, slow, drawn out, painful thing. Well, it just. But my grandfather, he's a smart man. He had managed to. He worked hard all his life, and he was smart. He set aside. He managed to set finances aside to take care of my grandmother after he was gone. And it took effort from our family, from my father especially, watch after her, make sure she didn't just fritter it all away. And we welcome Mr. Cartoon Critic to the room. Hello, howdy. You'll have to excuse me. I mean, it's going to be a while before I pull out of this dive. Um, Nothing seems to want to break free. Nothing seems. I applied for social. I'm disabled. I applied for disability, Social Security disability. The bastard who's supposed to be handling my case won't even answer the phone. I try and make a go of it as a freelance artist. It's and my business. It's a dumpster fire. I try and get ahead, and the IRS has all sorts of new reasons to whack me up for more money every year. I'm not even making 12 grand. It's let's see. The average my average monthly income is about $700. It 400 base plus about 2 or 300 more, and about $600-700. So I'm making, let's see, 12 times 600, 700. 12, let's say 12 times 700. Uh, 8,400. Less than 10. I usually hover around a little bit over, a little bit under the six-figure mark, the five-figure mark, and that first figure is a one. So, but because I am quote unquote self-employed, I have to, the Social Security tax. I wouldn't be paying any taxes at all except for Social Security. And every year, they tack, I end up owing over a thousand some odd dollars more in taxes, which I cannot pay because I know, I just do not have the money together, and and I've harped and talked and whined about that all. You don't need to hear it anymore. It's just that any course of action that I could take to improve my personal condition requires me to have a bankroll the size of a Buick first. And yeah, it's a no-go situation no matter which way I look. So you're going to have to pardon me for being not very cheery at the moment. I don't know, I'm probably crashing from lack of sugar and caffeine to boot. If I could just push my way through. I'm not sure what it would take to. I'm not. I'm getting angry with myself. Really. Guys. Okay. Okay. Time distraction time. Trying to. I can't. How far are you willing to go to survive? What are you willing to sacrifice to prevent that final plummet into failure? And does it really matter when you don't, when you talk about what you'd be willing to do when you can't do anything? How far are you willing to go? And what do you do when you can't do anything? Could you live with yourself when it was all said and done? Guys, I gotta say, it's really just I'm really down right now, and I'm being a very poor host. That's all right. I'm just. I really wish I had something else to talk about. I wish I was just bubbling over with energy again like I was yesterday, but I'm not. Maybe this is what. Maybe doing this is coming online is what's keeping me alive. Not sure where I am. I'm not sure what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what I'm going to do next. If I was still physically fit, I would be leaving this house and just going someplace, any place, just to get out of my own head again. And right now, you know, no vehicle. You know, uh, I don't even have no vehicle. I don't even have shoes. Seriously, I have a couple of flip flops that I can sort of fit on my feet. If I really, really have to, but not really. And I have one pair of sweatpants that I can just barely squeeze over my legs, and that's it. And, well, and some t-shirts and stuff. But most of what I wear through the course of the day is hospital gowns. I'll take anything. Take me to the hospital and drop me off. I'll take whatever I can with me. I got a stack of white. I got several heavy cotton sheets basically they handed off to me when they dumped me off the ambulance at my front door. Here you go ahead and keep them. I'm like, okay. I always use more bed sheets. It boils down to this: is that what nobody wants, you know, what I have to offer, what I currently offer. Nobody wants it. A handful of people, maybe. I have a handful of people who, I do a video stream, live streaming, talking about everything under the sun. Handful of people watch it, literal handful. I draw dozens of different comics, trying to pick up a wider audience, and the readership stalls out, at a certain level, and nobody buys the books. Nobody buys the books. Nobody wants the DVDs. Nobody wants the commissions. Nobody wants to throw a dollar. Other people, they put something out. They put something out, and the world goes nuts for it. Some dork invents the beer hat and makes millions, billions probably. Somebody else, starts drawing a comic strip, and they have an audience of millions, and they make a full living off it. And I've been hacking away at this, and I've been. And after 20 years, I've completely run out of steam, and I barely have any more people watching or following or reading than I did when I started. I even I made up free art to give out to churches and Sunday schools. Tried to give it away for free. Nobody wanted it. I sure have, for all the people threw a fit at me for all the people at Archive on of Our Own threw a fit at me for having my Patreon linked on my fan fictions. It hasn't generated a single penny. I used to work as a door-to-door salesman. I couldn't get anybody to buy anything. I haven't got that much to begin with, and now I'm out of things to try and give. And nobody wants it. J.K. Rowling sits down, writes out a children's story in between serving tables at a restaurant, sends it in, and the next thing you know, she's literally the richest person in England. Some twit of a female writes a fan fiction of Twilight, rewrites all the names, and basically writes a porno fan fiction of Twilight, changes all the names, throws and calls it 50 Shades of Grey, and it becomes a New York bestseller. Me, I get lots of people. I can't even get people to make a one sentence comment on my stories. I'm constantly begging yes, yes, thumbs up, very nice, thank you. Now tell me, talk to me, give me some feedback, or better yet, give me a donation. You like my books? Here's an idea. You like the artist's work? How about you make sure that the artist doesn't die? And throw something in the hat. Go to his Patreon page or his PayPal. Just you like my fan fiction so much. I've got the coffee.com. Just throw a couple of bucks in the hat for a cup of coffee, for crying out loud. No, no, everybody likes my stuff so long as but nobody likes it enough, to make sure that the artist doesn't die, freezing in the cold and starving. I got a handful of people. I've got a handful of people, and this was what really sucks, is that I've got a handful of people who are so incredibly generous to me, and like maybe say 100 people total, and literally, and on my Patreon I have 100 people who regularly make donations. They average about $4 each a month, and without them, I'd be dead. And I've got one or two people who every now and then they make these, just plunk down a 50 or 100. I'm like, oh my gosh, and I hate having to be like that. I hate the fact that when you have 10,000 contributors, it's one thing. When you have just one or two who are doing all the contributing, you're just a parasite. You're just a bum with a hand with a hat out. But I can't seem to get. According to the meters, I have people hit my web pages tens of thousands of times a month. Tens of thousands of people supposedly are going through my website and through my archives and through my comics and through my fan fiction, and none of them stick around long enough to throw a nickel in. You got somebody else, he it does schedule, boom, and people are throwing money at him like they're throwing a ticker tape parade for the president. And I'm like, and what I'm really afraid of, I'm not really afraid of compromising my principles. What I'm afraid of is that I'll finally cross all the lines that I promised I never would cross, and it'll make no difference. That's what I'm afraid of. I won't sell any more art. I won't sell a single piece more art, or write, or have one single extra sale. I've tried selling T-shirts and coffee mugs. I've tried everything, and nobody wants the shit I offer. Or a handful of people want it, but they're scattered. They wouldn't fill a college, high school cafeteria, and they're scattered all over the globe. Every time something looks like it's starting to succeed, it stops. It just stops and spins its wheels in the mud and goes nowhere for days and months and years. And I'm all out of craps to give. It's like being a dirt farmer where the only thing that you have on the farm is dirt. You plow the field and you water it and you plant the seeds, and nothing grows. And nothing you do helps. And you're all out of ideas, and you're all out of options. And there's another wolf at the door. Every day there's a new wolf at the door. Hell, at this point, there's a wolf at every door, standing at every window, and one of them sitting up on the roof looking down the chimney. And every day you're making just a little bit less. You have a little bit less energy. You have a little bit less strength. You have a little bit less, energy and creativity to keep plowing on. And you stand there and you look around, and there are people with 1/10 the talent, and who are just deplorable people, just all just who are literally half-assing their way through life, and they're practically swimming in it. And wherever they are, it's raining soup. they're riding the gravy train on biscuit wheels. And it has made me bitter. In case you haven't guessed, it is making me incredibly bitter. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, I was creative and productive, and I kept chunking along, and now I can't even pull myself together to get up before noon because I burnt myself out the night before. And it's not like I don't drink. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't even smoke. I just got old, and my body started crapping out on me. And where the body goes, the brain follows. Been a good little boy. Ate all my veggies. Said my prayers. And brushed my little toofies, and my teeth are falling out of my head too. There's a lovely one. And there are dope heads and meth heads out there that have got their lives together better than I do, and you know, the more you try to cling to your values or your beliefs, the more the world seems to laugh in your face, and the more threadbare your values get. I'm sitting here counting down the days till April when I sit down and finally do my taxes, and get told that despite the fact that I'm living in a hovel and have almost no income, that I owe the IRS more money. I can't even afford to pay somebody to mow my lawn, much or to patch my roof or to. And I've just lost my grip on everything. Never had one. I mean, uh, I think from the age of about 15 is where everything started going downhill. Homeschool, naturally, my parents. I went through 11 years of public school hell. At the last possible moment, my parents said, "Oh well, gee, let's homeschool him his final years." I was even I was, you know, great. You're going to try and fix up all the deficiencies of 11 years of public education with with one shot. They homeschooled me my final year. They gave me a fake class graduation ring and a fake uh, graduation ceremony in front of our failing church. And I'm not kidding you when I say it was a failing church. We didn't even have our, we lost our church building, and we were meeting in the senior citizen center, and every week there were fewer people attending. Till eventually, week after week, we'd show up, and nobody else would. Me, my sister, my parents, and then nothing. This, you know, but they, you know, I never felt like a bigger fraud in my life. Walking, walking up to get my diploma from my parents. Stand there in a purple robe, say 2 or 3 sentences, and then go sit down. Dan, 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 dan. What a load of crap. Then I get 1 year of college. They insisted I had to go to a Bible college, and I could only find one Bible college that even offered a minor in art. Didn't, and after 1 year I had to drop out because, well, they wouldn't let me come back until I paid the entire fees for the previous year. There was, it was screwed up. It was messed up. The way they handled finances in that school, and and everything has been downhill ever since. No real marketable talents except for my ability with a pencil to draw pretty pictures. Uh, no experience, no training in anything. And I spent the last 20, 30 years just going from part-time minimum wage low skill job to part-time low skill minimum wage job, and just barely scraping by, and no matter what I did, and and screwing myself up in a dozen different ways. I don't even want to think about some of the things I got, that I did to myself, the choices I made. I was ignorant, uneducated, uh, aimless fool, and what little I am capable of, my skills are wasted because, I don't have the discipline or the know-how to make them into a successful career. Obviously, because I've been cracking away at just being a web cartoonist. I've been cracking away at it for 28 years. And like trying to ice skate uphill. And every year it's been a little bit closer, and I've fallen a little bit further behind on everything, and here I am. And I'm just wondering, what have I got left to lose? course, the answer's coming back that if I'm wrong, I have so little left to lose that if it goes, there'll be nothing left of me. I'm all out of good ideas, and all I've got left are bad ones. I tried to edge my way into, shall we say, salacious material with the girls of summer, the bikini pics, an entire, an album, DVD of girly pics I'd drawn. You know, no nudes or anything, just girls in swimsuits. And the enthusiasm was underwhelming, shall we say. I've still got a handful of them that I haven't delivered yet because I haven't got the money to mail them. I still haven't printed out the archival DVDs that are supposed to go out to the Patreon members. Because getting this stupid computer to burn a DVD is like wrestling a pig. And, it was faster for me to contact the company and have them have a bulk burned in bulk, but I can't even get the cash together for that. And it's just, I've, I have failed at every endeavor I have put forward. It's It's a constant trial and a test of my will to live. It's using me up. All I can do about it, all I can seem to do about anything is blubber about it on YouTube. Tell me something seriously. There are three of you in here listening. I don't know why. So I'm going to ask. Why do you watch this show? This has become typical of me. This show has become typical of what I put out here. Just a angst-ridden mess. Why do you watch? Okay, I'm going to read this out loud for the people who watch this video who don't see the chat channel. Freak Uni, over the course of reading your comics and fics, I value your artistic mind and the soul that could create such great stuff. So I care about hearing what's going on in your life. That was kind enough that it deserved repeating, which is why I read it. It always boils down to audience appeal. I cannot seem, no matter what I seem to do, I cannot seem to generate. I cannot seem to break through that glass ceiling, that bubble, that wall, uh, to create a product that appeals and just spreads and generates enough pull to bring in the audience to make what I do sustainable. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong as far as that goes. You can talk about, everybody says, your update schedule needs. Yes, my update schedule needs to improve, but again, I plead the fact that I have been thumping away at this for longer than some of the readers have been alive, and it hasn't improved marketably uh, since since I started, and in fact, it's declined somewhat. And I'm getting old. Hell, I am old, and I'm just on a journey. And at the same time, there are other artists whose update is something like once a month, if at all, and they are pulling in. They've got an Oort cloud of audience orbiting them, and so far as I can see, their stuff isn't marketably better than mine. And they somehow they hit the right place at the right time and make just the right note, which I just can't seem to do. And on the rare occasion when I hit it right on the money, hit that sweet spot, it doesn't last. It never lasts. Speaking from the religious, the Christian perspective, there will be a lot of people that say that you shouldn't worry about financial success in this world. Store up your treasures in heaven, etc., etc., etc. But for all that is preached by people, uh, it's countermanded by things like uh, the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. The he who does not provide for his family is worse than an infidel. And the fact that just by and large speaking is that if you are not able to make a living and prosper, you are regarded as having moral and ethical failings. Your ability to be a breadwinner is a considered a mark of your ethics and your virtue. And well, there you have it. Thank you for listening, though. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for your kind words and your words of support. Sometimes that's the only thing that uh, that keeps me going. And that sounds like a cliche, but it's true. It's I just wish I had something more valuable to contribute. I've about I've about squibbed out. I wasn't I was running on empty when I started tonight, obviously, and I've about reached my limit now. So I think I'll be going now. Thank you for hanging on. Thank you for helping me hang on. Good night.